How's it going, everyone? It's GadgetsBoy. Welcome to another video. So today we have the two Samsung Galaxy S10 Plus variants here. So I have the Snapdragon one on my left here, so it might be looking like right to you, and the Exynos version on this hand, in this hand. So today we're going to be comparing them together in terms of battery life, because what I've noticed so far is in terms of speed, everything loads very quickly. They both have 8 gig of RAM as well. So when loading apps, when running multiple applications, there's no problems there at all, even the fingerprint sensor as well. But when it comes to battery life, that's when I start to see some discrepancies. So for example, the Exynos version seems to run out quicker than the Snapdragon version. So I thought, let's put this to test, let's put this to bed, because some people have mentioned it as well on Twitter and online in general. And I'm here to actually test that and see how that goes. And hopefully it comes out really good. I've seen Mr. Host the Boss, Aaron, done it before, and Tech Chap as well. They do this battery drain test. So I'm hoping that I'm doing them proud by doing this video properly, hopefully the first time that I give it a go. Okay, so this is the setup that we've got here. It's identical, even down to the T, like the wallpaper, as you can see there. So for now, please don't watch the battery level for now, because I'm just going to do a quick speed test first. And then I'm going to put both devices on charge. Luckily, they got supercharge or fast charge, so I can quickly fire them up back to 100%. So they're both equal, and then we're going to run some apps and so on. So as you can see here, what I'm going to do first is go to my background applications and just close everything. So there's nothing running at all in the background. For the sake of what I'm going to be doing later on in terms of battery test, I'm going to have all these things turned on to the max, so everything's in full mode. So you got Wi-Fi, Bluetooth there, and there's also location set up. So if I scroll down there, and then later on I'm going to bump the brightness all the way up as well. But for now, so that it comes out really well in the video, I'm just going to leave the brightness there for now. But when I start the actual battery test, I'm going to be switching on to the max the brightness, so you guys can see that it's fully draining the battery when it comes to that. So if you just go back up and put that back up. So first thing first, if I just lock both devices. For fingerprint test, they're very identical in terms of speed. So again, ultrasonic fingerprint sensor. So you can see that it unlocks very quickly. Same as Face ID unlock as well. For loading applications, if I load, say maps, these are processor intensive apps, for example, it requires a lot to load properly. So if I just come out of that and then load Spotify as well, you can see there's barely any noticeable lag between the both of them. Even if I loaded YouTube as well, you can see what happens there. It's very swift, very quickly. And then this is my battery drain, if I can say the word right, folder, which I've downloaded a few games and some apps as well. So you can see that I've got Legends, I've got Mortal Kombat, I got podcast app as well for running audio. You got Temple Run, Asphalt 9, Dead Trigger 2, and then I've got this 2 battery drainer app to see how that's gonna fare against each other. And I've also got device info here, so if you want to see device information, if I go on SoC here, which is system on chip, so you can see this one's running the Exynos 9820 chip, and this is running the Snapdragon 855 processor chip. So I'm just going to turn the vibrator off here, put it both on silent so we don't get distracted, as you can see there. So yeah, you can see what's going on there. Next, we're going to run the Geekbench 4 sort of benchmarking application. On the Geekbench 4 app, you can see I've ran a test earlier just to round up this video very quickly so I don't end up just using a lot of memory card here. So you can see the single core performance and the multi-core performance, and you can see how they differ. So that's the Exynos on the left, just to remind you, and this is the Snapdragon 855 processor version. They're both running Android 9 here. They've got 8 gig of RAM, although the utilized amount of memory here, it's 7.30 on the Snapdragon version and 7.23 on the Exynos version. And then I can scroll down. Feel free, guys, to pause the video, screenshot it, and see some of the stats here, which might be able to help you decide on further analysis on processor performance in terms of speed and so on. But overall, I'm totally happy with what you've got here in terms of what I've got here in terms of setup is very identical. So the next thing for me to do then is plug this in for supercharge, make sure they're fully maximized to 100%, and then turn on Wi-Fi, everything's on, and then I'm gonna drain the battery and show you guys what that looks like. Boom, so as you can see, both batteries are fully charged, as you can see up top there. So I'm gonna go ahead and discharge both of them from the power source. Just flip that over. Take this off as well. Get rid of the cables. So what I've done here is taking out the SIM cards because we don't want to be interrupted during this video with phone calls and so on. So this is going to be all down to just Wi-Fi speeds and so on. Another thing that I thought about is if I was to put the SIM card in there, signal strength here are quite different for different networks that I've got in them. So I'm on EE and 3 network, so in the UK. So what would happen then is my EE is really good here, so it won't have to do much network searching, whereas my 3 will constantly be trying to find a better network signal and so on. So it's better not to have them both running on the SIM card, so just Wi-Fi only here. So first thing first is to turn that on. So if we go down here, turn Wi-Fi on, turn Bluetooth on as well, as you can see, like so. And then just stop that, done. And if I just come out of this notifications, I've got WhatsApp web running. Cool, so we've got that there. Location is on, as you can see, so everything else is all running the same. We don't even have blue light filter on, so we're good. One more thing we should do is go into settings and just check our display settings to make sure that everything is absolutely the same here as well. So you can see there, these are both running on full HD there, which is full HD plus, sorry, which is what most people would use these devices on when they buy this device from the store, from the retailer. If we go back into display, I've done timeout to be 10 minutes, just so that it doesn't just time out too often. Besides that, I think those are the basic things here. So both have 4,100 milliamp hour battery, and the processor chip are based on ARM architecture in terms of processors. So they are quite built for efficiency, so they should be really efficient in terms of how they run, how they manage power efficiency with applications. So even app is not using it, it'll dish the power up to an app that actually really needs it. So this is like big little architecture. Again, that we're not going to talk about that too much here, but you can always Google that and find out more about how the processor chip works and so on. So first thing first, if you just load up Instagram, this is something that most people would run. Funny enough, we've got Aaron, Mr. Who's the Boss, the first thing that came up on the image there, talking about the OnePlus 7 that's coming out very soon. So we can see what's going on here. We can run this as soon as we want to start. So if I just put it up, and then we've got a timer here running on the Samsung Galaxy Note 9. So I'm just going to tap that to begin timing what we're doing here. So first thing first, if I just, maybe I should load that again. You can tell this is my first time doing this kind of stuff. I'm just going to close all applications again, just to make it fair and square. So if you just tap Instagram, again, applications run, they load up the same time straight away. Just go on my home profile. Let's go back. Make sure you guys are following as well if you're not following already on Instagram at GadgetsBoy, and you can just see what's going on there. This is something that most people would use, so we just leave that running for about half an hour or so. Okay, so this test is still running, but the memory card is running out of the camera. So I'm just going to quickly change the memory card whilst this is still running. Right, so as you can see, we are now 30 minutes in over there. So if I just come out of this, we'll leave that running in the background. That's absolutely fine. We'll just come out of this completely. So for battery so far, it's gone out to 96% on the Snapdragon version, and it's gone to 95% on the Exynos version over there. Just to show you guys again, Snapdragon over there on the left, and Exynos over here. If I just come out of this. Next up, we're going to play a 1 hour long song by J. Cole here. It's called J. Cole Chill Songs. In fact, I'm just going to make that, go that into widescreen mode, so it's fully expanded, as you can see on both devices. So we're going to run that again for the next half an hour or so, and then we'll come back and see what the battery life is saying after that. But so far, it looks like the Snapdragon is in the lead by 1%, as you can see there, and everything else is running as normal. So we'll be back in half an hour to see how that goes. Okay, so this is an hour in. I know this is started again from an hour again, but if you look up top there, so we're now 1 hour and 11 seconds and counting and so on. So I'm just gonna come out of the YouTube video. I think it's just about halfway through the YouTube video now. And then we can see, we can check how the battery life is doing. So if I just come out of this completely, if I go back home, draw this down, clear all of this, come here, clear all the notification as well, come back down here, and you can see now they're very, very much so at equal level. So again, let me just clear that notification, it's a bit distracting. So both are now at 92%, as you can see there, but we're just getting started here. The competition's getting heated up. We're gonna do some more tests to see what that's like. So I think the next thing we do is perhaps put some game on. So I think the best one here that's very graphics intensive, it's if we go to Dead Trigger, for example, load them both up. Okay, so we're gonna leave this running again for the next 30 minutes or so, maybe 45. I'll see how far I can withstand just standing here and watching this roll up throughout the day, and then we'll come back again and see how the battery life's doing. So what we do is just we just leave that screen there running, because what the processor would need to do and the graphics, the GPU in there would need to do is keep this graphics rendering, keep it moving throughout the whole time that I leave it on. And this is very intensive for the processor chip and the graphics card as well. So let's keep an eye on that and see how that goes for the next half an hour or so. Boom, so we've been gaming for a bit now, and we're now 1.5 hours into this now. So what I'm gonna do is come out of this and see what battery level we are currently on. Again, just clear my notifications first. And here we are. So now we're on 85%. This is still neck to neck. This is so amazing. So this is 85% on the Exynos and 85% also on the Snapdragon model here on the left. So it looks like they're both handling it really well, to be honest, which is very impressive if you ask me. I'm gonna add a bit to it. I'm just gonna put my torch on both as well. So that's on in the background. I don't know if that will stay on whilst we do other things, but we'll just leave it on anyway, just to drain a bit more battery out of this thing. So if we go in here, I've got this app on here, which is your battery drainer. So if we go in here, you got wake lock, you got Wi-Fi, so he's going to use Wi-Fi network if possible. There's no SIM cards in them, so he's not going to do that, but you use Wi-Fi. You got CPU bouncer, again using heavy CPU operations, vibration, sound, Bluetooth, etc., GPS. it's going to use all those radios to try and drain out the battery. So let's start them at the same time. So the vibration is going mad shit crazy right now. So that's going to go on for a while. So yeah, good luck to my hearing in the office here, in the studio here. So this is going to go on for a while, and then we'll come back to it and see what's happening. We'll check the level in a bit. So now the Exynos is currently on 84%, and the Snapdragon literally just switched up, just flicked over there. I flicked over to 84% as well. So you can see the CPU usage going on both devices, and yeah, hopefully the devices are still in the same spot by the end of this, because this vibration is very, very intense. I'm just going to push that into place here. So let's give that a go and see what happens. We're back in a bit. We'll let that run for as long as it needs to. And then there's another battery drain test application that I've got on here, which I'll put on as well in a minute and see if that does anything differently to this one, if this one doesn't fully drain it out like I want it to. 2 hours in, we've still got 78% battery left in both of them, as you can see right at the bottom there. So this is still going, and it's still neck to neck as well. So we're just playing video on repeat here over and over and over, just to try and drain it more as much as possible. So imagine you're on a trip somewhere, you might watch a video on your flight somewhere. So this might be a full 2 hour long video, and this is what I'm currently simulating here to see what happens there. So we'll come back again when the battery drains a little bit further, but at the moment we're both running on 78% battery on both processors. Right then, so about 5 hours into this battery drain test now, and this video here has been running for 167 minutes in total on each of the devices, and now we're starting to see some crack. There's a 10% difference between the devices now. So the Exynos one is now on 47%, and the Snapdragon is now on 57% drained. So I think once you go past that 50% mark, that's where you start to see the Exynos drop below the Snapdragon version. But we're still going to carry on going and fully drain this out until both of them dies. So if you want, you can start placing your bet now to see which one's going to die first. At the moment, we're now 6 hours in, and as you can see here, the Exynos is performing at 31% and the Snapdragon is now at 45%. You can see the temperature as well, the battery temperature at the top. So you can see the Exynos is getting hotter as well. So that's 39 degrees there, whilst this one is 37 degrees. In fact, that was lower on the Snapdragon earlier before it started to go back up just a little bit again, because I changed the application to something else to try and drain it a bit quicker than I've been doing. So this is running out for about 10 minutes. But so far, we're on 6 hours worth of day in terms of usage so far now. Okay, we're edging towards 7 hours 20 minutes now, and the Exynos is kind of the software I'm using to drain the batteries has kicked the phone's brightness right down that I can't even adjust the brightness. So if I go here, I can't even do that. So you can see what's going on here. So the if I go back into the app, sorry, on the Exynos is now on 4% battery, and the Snapdragon is still on 19% battery. That's a massive gap between both devices. But what I'd say to round this up is this is not a typical usage of what an average user would use throughout the day. So your phone will probably last you longer than this, if not into the next day. The whole point of this experiment is to show you that one processor chip actually is better than the other one in terms of device that you get. So for us guys in the UK, when we get the Exynos device, it means we're missing out on the capabilities and the battery life of what the Samsung Galaxy S10 Plus can actually offer, which is a bit of a shame. But you can see that discrepancy there, how they differ. So now this is dropped to 3% in the background. I know you guys probably can't see, but it's dropped to 3% and it's still quite hot. They're both the same now, 44 degrees centigrade. Battery life still good in terms of battery health, rather, still good. But I reckon by the time we get to 7 hours, 20 minutes there, that will completely die because it's at 3% right now and you can barely use it for anything. So there you go, at 7 hours, 24 minutes and 4 seconds, the Samsung Galaxy S10 Plus, which is the Exynos one, is now completely dead, and the Snapdragon version is still going, although I'm going to now stop that, but that's ended at 14% and 44 degrees of temperature there for the phone itself. Right, let's talk some stats on the battery usage here. So on the Snapdragon one, we've got screen time of 7 hours, 32 minutes, and left us with just about 18% battery, if not more, just a bit more, 13% battery. So there you go. And you can see the device idle time there as well. 4% of that is the idle time out of those 7 hours plus that we get. And if we take a closer look at the Exynos, I've just plugged it into power backup, and we've got screen time of 7 hours 27 minutes as well, but that completely died at that point, and this device idle just about 4% as well. So you can see how equal that was in terms of the level of usage that we've just put both devices through. So guys, that's the test there for you guys to see what it's like in terms of battery for the Samsung Galaxy S10 Plus, the Exynos version versus Snapdragon from Qualcomm. Guys, let me know what you think in the comments below. I hope you guys have watched this and learned a few things or two, and also I hope it's helped you in making an informed decision on which one to get. In the meantime, make sure you subscribe if you haven't already. Make sure you smash that like button as well. It really does help me out. And if you haven't hit that notification bell button, make sure you do so as well, so you'll be one of the first people to know every time there's a video on this channel. Thanks for watching. I'll see you guys in the next one. Peace.